Hello, this is Defacto Review with me, Jargalsaikhan. We will share with you our knowledge and analysis about three important events of last week that are shaping economic, political, and social life of Mongolians. This week topics are: why commercial banks' initial public offerings are delayed, how are Mongolians responding to the Russia-Ukraine war, nationwide health checkup begins. Let's go to the first topic. Why commercial banks' initial public offerings are delayed. Minister of Finance Khurelsukh submitted a law draft for delaying for another year initial public offerings of commercial banks. The largest bank's IPO by June 30th, or in 1 month, supposed to be started or finished, and by this law, no one has more than 20% of ownership of any commercial bank. It was also advised by IMF to postpone this event, as they are not ready yet. This law was adopted originally last year, January 29th, 2021. Two largest banks are already submitted their request for permission to FRC, to Financial Regulatory Committee for permission already. Those are Ham Bank and Khurelsukh Bank. The next two banks, Has Bank and State Banks, were ready about submitting. They have already spent a lot of money for preparation, of course, underwriting costs, etc., already prepared. Then the question comes, why we are really postponing, or as a central bank governor, Sureng, said, why we are extending all these things for another year. That's a big question now in a society now. First reason why they are postponing is asset quality review must be made for every bank. Why? Because they need a truly accurate value estimation of each price. An IPO price per share should be realistic. That's what is IMF advising. Plus, also COVID and war in Ukraine impact on asset quality, on economic situation, asset quality, including loans quality. The third reason is make sure investors' interests are not damaged, or when properly valued, investors paying the fair value per share. Expected total value of IPO of all five, at least commercial largest banks, is 500 billion MNT. Now, question is coming whether we have this money or not in the country. The lack of resources for domestic investors to buy bank shares. Not sure if this money can be raised. Plus, all banks, if they go public at the same time, it will be additional difficulty. So it may have a really negative sides on the economy. Business legal environment is not stable if this law is changed in 18 months or after. Also, it does not help in gaining investors' trust. And commercial central bank could have this AQR earlier made. Plus, it knew that economic situation was worsening. So it altogether shows there is no long-term policy. Our second topic is, how are Mongolians responding to the Russia-Ukraine war? While Mongolia officially keeps neutral position on this war in Ukraine, the public has been always divided, and that division came very viral recently. During a Democratic Party of the capital city demonstration on May 11th under the slogan, "Don't turn Mongolia into Belarus," which took place in front of the monument, the oppressed. During that oppression, as we know, Mongolia had lost 40,000 lives at the Stalin regime repression. At this meeting, well-known actor Sosok Baram spoke quote, President Putin is a killer. President Batulga, stop being Putin's chain, unquote. During his speech, this time, a protester threw a flower at him. The person who threw flower said afterwards, who helped us to be liberated from Manchus in 1921? Who helped us during Japanese invasion in 1939? Who helped us to be accepted in the UN in 1961? All Russians. We must have eternal friendship. And the police should stop this kind of demonstration. That's what he said. There was a press conference later on of Democratic Party where the former mayor of the Ulaanbaatar city, Batul, he said that there is a group of people in Mongolia who is attacking our sovereignty and ignoring our independence. These people are the Russian ambassador Azizov, ex-president Khaltama Batulga, ex-foreign minister Ertinchulun. That's what he said. These are the fifth colony of Putin in Mongolia. That, unquote. Another prominent figure, ex-prime minister Sanjay Bayer, said in his extended interview to Utri Soning, Russia has full right to protect its own national security, but it must be within internationally accepted legal rights. Where the war is going on, where the ordinary people are killed, property damaged, the answer is clear. Black is black, white is white, and there is no need of meddling. That's what he said. Meanwhile, another diplomat and well-known international affairs researcher, Bayerhu, was asking to the following question. Our country is completely geopolitically dependent on its two neighbors. The world strongly opposes Russia's aggression. How do you assess the neutral position of our country? He said, I think we have no choice but to remain neutral. When friendly countries at war with each other, we cannot take sides. That's this time. Does the neutral position of our country pose any risk of European Union sanctions? Then he replied, review the key documents of Mongolia's foreign policy. Mongolia is committed to pursuing a peaceful, open, independent, and multi-pronged foreign policy. I don't think we are going to the wrong direction beyond this policy. We have not taken any steps to disrupt Mongolian-European relations. To be a neutral means being neutral at the times of wars and being not member in any military unions at times of peace. So these are the positions of prominent Mongolians, influencers in the country, and Mongolia is being really divided on this issue. And mostly it has to do with with internal break of the Democratic Party of two wings now. And one wing is now headed by the ex-president Batulga. The other is by close also by ex-prime minister Ilbek Dorj. And there is a fight between them, which is fueling their divide amid the war in Ukraine. And with them, Mongolians' public is divided as well. And we will follow what's happening next. The third topic today is the nationwide health checkups begins. This nationwide preventive checkups and early detection campaign began on May 1st. Minister of Health Inkbold has that three goals we are pursuing. First, contribute to the post-COVID-19 rehabilitation treatment. Make it habit for every citizen to have regular preventive and early detection checkups. Reduce the incidence of 5 most common diseases in Mongolia. Medical checkups are being conducted in urban hospitals and mobile health clinics in remote areas. Adults are getting 19 types of checkups. children under age 18 are getting 6 types of checkups. In Mongolia, the leading causes of morbidity are gastrointestinal diseases, respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, and urogenital diseases, injuries and poisoning. The leading cause of death are cardiovascular diseases, cancer, injuries, poisoning, gastrointestinal disorders, and respiratory diseases. There is a bad statistics for Mongolia. Worldwide rate for morbidity of cancer is 232 persons per 100,000. In Mongolia, it is 255, and it makes us to have 52nd position in the world. But by the death of cancer worldwide, 100% for per 100,000 people, but Mongolia has 185 person per 100,000 people, thus making the first place according to Dr. Irtinhu, head of National Cancer Center of Mongolia. Budget for this nationwide checkup is around 61 billion MNT, and medical checkups will cost 60 to 150,000 tugriks per person. Package depends on the age group. One must also have paid last 2 years continuously health insurance. But however, COVID and no job, jobless youth have problems in this regard, because not everybody has been paying their national insurance for last 2 years. So there is a probability that many people will be outside of these checkups. Anyway, public hospitals are already overcrowded amid pandemic and other similar influenza and other diseases. The checkup starts with checking children under 5 years old in around the country, but many parents are already not happy with checkups for kids under 5 years old, as doctors only check their weights, how tall are they, and they are counting their teeth, nothing more. And the parents say, we can do it ourselves, please spend more, we need more research, biolab. Yes, these checkups are for the first time in Mongolia being implemented, and which is so important for preventing and early discovering diseases. And that, in spite of our relatively developed health care system, this checking up earlier, testing, pre-testing, all these habits are still to go a lot in Mongolia. That's why, though the government initiative is very good start, but there are a lot of things to fix. That's what their procedures show us. But it's a good start. So hopefully it will bring more result and more health to the nation. Well, this ends our this week Defacto review. Hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching us, and see you next week.